My name is Mastris. I'm a prostate cancer patient and a patient advocate. Currently a director and trustee of Prostate Cancer Federation in the UK with over 120 groups in the UK. I've been the past president of Europa UMO and also ECPC, and been involved as patient advocate for many years to fight the unmet needs of prostate cancer patients. About 2005, I left my employment after 43 years. I had private medical insurance at that time. I then decided, I've never used it, I thought I'll have a medical, and to my distress, I was found that I had prostate cancer. But the question was, it was caught early, and that was a good thing, but my personal experience felt that I was going to die, and life was at the end of the tunnel, if you like. But looking back on that now, I was probably overtreated based on the information we know now. As a layman at that time, I didn't know nothing about prostate cancer. I didn't know where the prostate was and what it did. And like most men of my generation, you never mentioned it to anybody else. You just kept quiet and you carried on. Now, from that, I had incontinence for 15, 16 years. I had erectile dysfunction and all the side effects of the treatment. I'm not blaming the medical people at the time, but basically it was the guidelines that were on the table. And the idea was, you had prostate cancer, take it out. And as a layman, you followed what the advice of the medical profession was. You know, you trusted them. But unfortunately, my urologist diverted me to the NHS, and I had a wonderful thing. But I think I was overtreated. I would have been on active surveillance now on the information, and I wouldn't have had the side effects. And that's what I believe in, fighting for the unmet needs of prostate cancer patients. And at that time, the NHS had a waiting time of 18 weeks for treatment. So you had to be treated within that period. Well, when I decided to go for robotic at that time, I went into the hospital, and during the evening, the camera broke down. And the hospital director said to him, do an open surgery. And my urologist said, no, I've just given him a sandwich. So I had to come back after 3 weeks over the Christmas period to have the prostate removed. Well, I came out on Christmas Eve with a catheter and went to our neighbours on Christmas Day. But it's the side effects that I think we overlooked, and the quality of life. Because I got involved locally, nationally and European, I felt the pioneer was the avenue to get big data in, get the right information, treat the patient, as I keep saying to me, treat the patient, not the cancer, and give the right treatment at the right time. And I think as a patient advocate, I've always believed that working together is the only way we can defeat this disease, because patients have got a valuable experience to actually give, and they can direct. I mean, if you talk about multidisciplinary and all this stuff, the normal patient doesn't understand it. And I think we need to educate men for the future. And I think it'll be different with the new generation of prostate cancer patients. I think they're more savvy, there's more information, and I don't think the vanity of men don't cry is going to go out the window. I think we need to get education earlier at schools. One of my things is start learning youngsters about healthcare. I mean, I know girls get a little bit more at school and things like that. So we should start early with boys, testicular cancer, and then build it up to prostate cancer. Well, I've always believed, as I said before, working together, getting to, with pharma, with all stakeholders. And I think we all say about farmers and all that, but we have to work together across the board with the medical profession. And and I've always said, treat the patient, not the cancer. I think the professional people have to look at the patient and say, have they got support at home? Are they on their own? Do they want to go out walking? Do they want to do things? So I think the treatment should be personalised to each individual. I think they should support anything that's going to help the future generation of prostate cancer. And data is the only thing we've got, and with artificial intelligence and things like that, and with Pioneer, I think I'm hoping Pioneer will carry on. We've done a lot of work, and like most of what I've seen over the years as a patient advocate, a lot of things start off and you never see the end of it. And my frustration is that I've been involved with patient packs, with pharma and other organisations. I've always said I'd like to go and send, but I'd like to see an end product to it. I'm not a talking shop where you just sit there and carry on. I mean, last week I was invited to, which didn't happen, with Sky and ITV about MRI. Now, it was a big thing in the UK, you know, MRI before biopsy and all that. And I said to them, I've heard this at EAU 10 years ago with Caroline Moore and Mark Edmonton saying MRI is the future of prostate cancer. And all this, and that's another news topic, and it was a one-day wonder, and it's disappeared again. So I think we need, well, personally, I always think we need, first of all, we need a screening program on a risk-based scenario, because I think that's the only thing we still in the UK is trying to get screening, and nobody wants it. I believe, you know, a risk-based scenario is the way forward. And in the UK, I mean, there's 1 in 8 men get prostate cancer and 1 in 4 black men. And I think we need to move away from the idea that prostate cancer in the UK was a middle class white man's disease. And I think we have to realise that it's not the case. We've got people from all walks of life that get prostate cancer, and the information has to be down to a level that people understand. Whether you're educated or not, when you're ill, the language is more important than what, even the doctor will say, give it to me in a 7-year-old language, because otherwise you get bombarded with information that, you know, nothing happens. I think basically messages out there is education, awareness, campaigning and whatever. And just the final thing was, I was in the House of Commons last week on the Bins for Men campaign, run by PC UK and myself, and Tackle Prostate, which I'm involved with. For 16 years, I was suffering from incontinence. Okay, my life was upside down. You couldn't go to the pub, you couldn't drink or whatever, wearing pads and whatever. Now, I went to a conference, I had a pad, didn't know where to dispose of it. Didn't have a bag, stuffed it at the back of the toilet. Now, that's just something, you know, incontinence. The good thing is, after 15 years, I've had an artificial sphincter put based on the information I found out in Europe. Although it hasn't cured it, but it's made my life like 100% better. So my message is to patients, don't sit back, and you have a voice at the end of the day. And as a voice, I think we can achieve more. And I think patients' voice sometimes are better than medical voices.